everyone, Selina here on this very special episode of Selina Thomas, SCV HR Guru, where I bring the stories of our business community and the people behind them to you. I'm so excited and honored to have two guests on this episode. My first guest is the Vice President of Operations for Magic Mountain, Tim Burkhart. We're excited to talk to him about the reopening of Magic Mountain in the spring, how Magic Mountain's been repurposed for the vaccination rollout, the campaign for Christmas drive-through, and of course the drive-through car show that's happening this weekend. So excited to be able to have him give us those details specifically, and of course see the end of this crisis with the reopening of Magic Mountain. Additionally, I am honored to be able to have a conversation with our Assemblywoman, Suzette Valadares. She was a champion in Sacramento for the reopening of theme parks, not just Magic Mountain, and co-authored legislation for this. She's also going to speak to the other issues that she's fighting for her constituents in Sacramento and how we can look forward to a great recovery. I'm so excited for you to see this episode and look forward to seeing you the next time. In the meantime, stay safe.
Can you hear me?
Tim, hi, how are you?
I'm doing well. Can you hear me?
I can. It's great to see you too.
Good.
How are you today on this fine Friday?
You know, this is probably the prettiest day of the week.
Isn't it?
Yeah, I think I'm going to knock off a little bit early and go out for a good long bike ride.
Nice. And it's so beautiful. You know, I could see Magic Mountain right behind me here. I get to see that every day. And it's been really tough in the last year not to see those roller coasters going. But we're excited to talk to you today about what we can look forward to, when that's going to happen, and of course the things you've done to make the park safe for not only the employees but the guests coming in. So I would love to dive right in, talk a little bit about you first and what your position is at Magic Mountain.
Okay, well, I am the corporate vice president of maintenance and construction for Six Flags. I oversee the maintenance, construction, and development activities across all the parks in our company around the world. Involved in the development and design of new parks, new rides, new attractions. It's just an absolute fantastic job. It is a job that's absolutely meant for me. I came into that job through a long career at Magic Mountain, doing a lot of things. I started working at Magic Mountain in 1977 when I was a senior at Hart High School.
Wow.
Worked as a ride operator, moved up through the ranks over many years while I went to college. And prior to accepting this position, I was the director of maintenance, construction, and engineering at Magic Mountain. And I have literally had my hands on the construction of every ride at that park since Colossus.
Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah.
And what a great career to be able to start as a ride operator, which many of our young people in our community, that's their first job. I remember one of my neighbors, that was his first job. He was at Hurricane Harbor, and he was so proud to walk out of the house with his Hurricane Harbor uniform on, and it, you know, a lot of people are, you know, the memories that are created there. So that's been so hard for it to be shut down.
It's great because, I have that connection point with, I don't know, pick a percentage, 50%, 75% of the people that live in this valley.
Mm-hmm.
I literally run into grandkids of the people that I started working at Mountain with that have jobs in Magic.
Those generations that have come through there. And
yes.
I have traveled the country with my girls for softball, and people often ask, where are you from? And I'll say California, and they'll say, what part? And I could say outside of Los Angeles, but the second I say Magic Mountain, they have a point of reference. So it is
and who Who in
Yes.
this town has not given that same exact description, right? You try to
Yes.
explain Valencia or Newhall or Saugus, and you
Proximity
just
where
fall
it's
back
central.
on, well, by Magic Mountain, and
And
everybody
then
goes,
it's
oh, yeah.
immediate. And this is
Yep.
all over the country. So that is certainly something to be so proud of. And I'm proud to be able to say that when I am traveling. And I've had several people reach out to me when they knew I was interviewing you with such excitement. Because sentimentally, seeing it reopened gives everyone that hope that life is coming back to normal. And so I was excited to be able to talk to you about those details specifically. And I've seen the projections in the media, but clearly you're the man to talk to.
Well, we have been anxious to get the park reopened for a long time. We operate 19 properties across North America, and most of them opened at some point in the last 12 months. We've got parks in, obviously everyone knows about our parks in Texas and in Oklahoma, Missouri, Atlanta, Georgia, up in the Northeast. We were open to some degree in almost every market. So we've been doing this through the COVID time, very safely, very productively, very efficiently. I can tell you that we have been asked by governments and health officials in other parts of the country to please stay open, please keep operating. We believe that this is a safe thing for people to do during the pandemic, to be outside and enjoying themselves and having some
Physically and
recreation.
emotionally, yes.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
So we've been encouraged by many governments, and look, it's no secret, California is a little bit different, has been treated differently by the pandemic than a lot of other places in the country have. So
Yes.
I'm not making that comment to be critical of anyone. It's been tougher in California than it has been in a lot of other places in the country, and we recognize that. But we do think that we're ready to open safely and get people back into spending family time together outside, enjoying themselves together. And we are working every day with the state, with the county, with
Public health.
with elected officials, with regulators, with epidemiologists that we retain on staff. We're working as hard as we can to get everybody comfortable with us getting back open again. We're getting the whole industry back open again in California.
Yes.
So,
and that's so exciting. I wanted to speak to that because for many people, especially coming into the summer, for young people, this is their first job. And you employ how many people at Magic Mountain on a regular year outside of COVID?
our peak staffing in a normal year is 3,500 people at the park.
So I would say one of the largest employers in this valley.
The largest, without question, we are the largest employer in the Santa Clarita Valley.
And so just that economy alone of individuals, and then of course, them coming back into working. Can young people look forward to applying for a position this summer as their summer job? Or is there a hold on that until you're completely operational in terms of your existing staff?
No. So as soon as we have a definitive opening date with the regulators and with the government, we will begin hiring in earnest. And it is our intent to jump back into the deep end of this pool, so to speak, and start getting people hired back up. We were very fortunate as a company to, we did not have any full-time staff reduction because of the COVID and on operation and things like that. Obviously, our seasonal staff who work in the park while the park is open were not brought back and were furloughed until we get the park back open again. But we need that staff. We need the seasonal staff, the people that come in and apply and take care of that. We have also, by the way, really improved that process. It is now, we handle everything from the application to the interview online. There's no need to, come down to the human resource office and interview and do those things anymore. It is a very, shall we say, COVID-friendly process.
Absolutely. And everyone's gotten creative even about the hiring. And so that's good to know. And I would certainly share that information at the end of this episode on the website and have people watch, for when that green light is. And I've seen so my kids have an actual pass. So they're members. So we get actual emails and updates. And I got an alert just today about the car show.
About the car show, yeah.
So that's exciting to know that there's a means to kind of get that information out. But let's talk about how Magic Mountain was repurposed. I did have many of my neighbors go through the Christmas car, the drive-through, and now you've got it repurposed for the vaccination rollout, which is amazing. I heard from the mayor that he actually got his shot at the drive-through in Magic Mountain.
Oh yeah, I mean, I probably have had 100 people comment to me that they got their vaccination over at the operation at the park. We partnered with the county and the state and with FEMA and everybody involved in operating that. We don't operate, to be clear, we don't operate the actual process. We're the landlord, so to speak, and
the host, if you will.
The host, yeah, that's a better word. The host, and we're certainly happy to use it. Magic has a long history of stepping up when
yes, and
whether it's earthquakes or bad weather or anything, and letting our facility be used by public safety agencies to make things better.
I've seen staging there. I've seen trainings happen in your big lot. It's certainly more than a theme park, and I'm so glad to know that you continue to partner in that way, and that there is exciting things coming. The car show this weekend. Let's talk about that. Is that something that was again coordinated, and you just are allowing the location to be utilized for? What a great event! People are so excited about this.
Well, actually, this is a Six Flags production. When we modified our Holiday in the Park event during Christmas time to be a drive-through rather than a normal park operation, we were literally blown away with how well it was received and how well it was attended. We knew it was going to be liked, but we ended up running the event for. Yeah, we extended it almost a month just because there was just that much demand for it. And it makes perfect sense. Who do we know that doesn't want to get out of the house for something? So the next step was, well, what can we do next, right? This is obviously something that people want to do. And as a lot of people, particular pass holders may know, we barely opened a fantastic new ride just before the pandemic hit us called West Coast Racers. Which is an unbelievable roller coaster that we built it, we opened it, we only operated it for, I don't know, I think 7 or 8 weeks before we had to close the park to the pandemic. So for most of the world, it's going to be a new ride when we reopen the park. Well, this ride was done in conjunction with a company called West Coast Customs. And Ryan Friedlinghouse, who many people have seen on TV doing his shows.
On
we
MTV,
worked with him.
He turned the cars around and just flipped them out. Same show.
Yeah, his first show, Pimp My Ride, was hugely successful on MTV, and he's done other things and other shows since then. We partnered with him on the project to give the ride a theme of, since the automobile and custom cars is such an integral part of the Southern California lifestyle. We thought that people would really enjoy it. Well, for this event, we partnered with Ryan again, and he will actually be the virtual host as you go through this car show. And the car show is unique, and I'm a huge car guy. Custom cars and racing cars. big part of me and my family. But what's unique about this show that's probably never been done is, one, it's a drive-through. You're gonna drive through the park and you're gonna see all these cars staged and done. But it is the cars that will be there. It's multiple genres of cars. You're going to go from an area that has mini trucks to an area that has classic cars to an area that has muscle cars, and so it normally shows tend to focus on one genre of car, one or two. But this, you'll be able to get a taste of virtually everything. And I've seen a bunch of the pictures of what's going to be out there, and I haven't been out there yet to see what they're doing, but I'm really looking forward to
as a fan yourself, you're going to be like a kid in a candy store, and it's going to be a beautiful weekend to do this, so it's perfect timing.
Yeah. So I would say, if you're interested in that, anyone that's interested in that, jump on sixflags.com and select Magic Mountain, and you can get all the information you want about everything that's going on at the park there. You can register, get your tickets for the car show, find out about our higher employment status. You can find out the latest on when we're hoping to get in. Everybody to that website. We update that daily. It's like,
yes, I get alerts daily because of my girls' membership. And so, speaking of that, I know that the memberships have continued. So is there anything that's coming up in terms of membership that you draw people back? Or is there anything that people can look forward to? And then, of course, they'll continue their memberships as they had before with the reduction of capacity.
Sure. Well, one of the big things that's been in the news lately is how Disney canceled their season pass membership type program and are redesigning it to better fit their needs. That is not something that we have on the table at all. Our membership and season pass programs are going to continue. We will continue to offer the perks and benefits to the different levels of the memberships that we've always had, and they will continue to be new and responsive to things that are going on. So, as you said, if you're currently a member, you're getting regular communications on what's going on and what's happening, and when we're ready to open and approved to open, there'll be a direct communication to everybody about how to do that. I don't know where we're going to end up in terms of capacities. We believe we can fully open safely with the protocols and the things that we have in place. So depending on where we're required to be at the attendance level, that will dictate how we have to handle everything. We have a well-proven reservation system that we've used across many parks across the country. If we need to do reservations, I think we are well positioned to very efficiently roll this out and get everybody into the park.
That's exciting. So when a guest comes, just like we're starting to see on a regular basis in all locations, they can expect temperature checks, and that obviously you have protocols on disinfecting the park. Are those types of things really obvious to guests, and it gives them a sense that Magic Mountain has changed how they're open in a COVID world, post-COVID?
It's going to be very obvious, and obvious by design. We want people to see the things that we've done differently, and some really exciting news is some of the things that COVID has required us to do are going to be forever things that we're going to do at the park just because of the efficiencies. We have new equipment that we use in terms of, say, for instance, temperature checking. We actually have a walk-through portal that scans everybody as fast as you can walk through it. It will scan you and take your temperature, and you will not even really recognize that it's happening unless your temperature is too high, and one of our medical staff will evaluate you, talk to you, ask you the same questions everybody gets asked. But for the majority of people, will not even realize, other than the fact they walk through the portal. The other thing is we have a new technology that works very well and that we're very excited about. We will not have metal detectors anymore. We have a new scanning type system that, again, you walk through as quickly as you can, and it uses artificial intelligence to scan you. And if it detects a mass of an object that it's familiar or unfamiliar with, it will alert on that one single person, and we can ask what ask you what that might be, or take the appropriate steps. But no more waiting in a long metal detector line, no more opening your purse or emptying your pockets, or that is a thing of the past, and that will be in place forever going forward.
And just allows people to go through and just focus on the fun and the memories. And it's good to know that during this downtime, you've been so creative and innovative in getting those changes implemented, because it was a good time to, I mean, with all the time we all had, I've talked to many people in my travels about what they've had to do to be creative, efficient, and operational. And it sounds like you're ready. We're so excited.
Well, a lot of these things we needed to do in order to get open in other parts of the country. And once we did it, we realized, hey, this is fantastic. We need to do this forever.
Yes. And I think from COVID, a lot of things spawned from that. And I can't tell you how much I appreciate you taking the time. I have a fun fact about, and I do this with all my guests, just before COVID struck, I have a client that actually painted the Goliath Albright painting, and we used the Magic Mountain location for the 10-year anniversary of them painting it for our Christmas party. And so at the end of this episode, I'll certainly share that I did ride, and it was a team event. We all rode it in solidarity, and I promptly left the park, but it was certainly a memory that, none of us knew what was coming. But I can definitely look back at that fondly, and it brought us together as a company. And so I appreciate that. I remember I mentioned that the other day, and so you still ride the rides.
Selina, you said that, but I don't know that I necessarily believe you rode that ride. So you're going to have to come out and ride it with me one day, just to make me really believe it.
I will. And then in this episode, I'll certainly share the end results, because I had someone that was actually on the ride that took photos, as part of the team, and not knowing that it would end up being, my a moment for me. But it was so great to talk to you today. I'm so excited about the event coming up this weekend. I hope I see you out there, and I'll certainly be promoting that along the way. And I look forward to being able to come back in as a guest with my daughters, who make great memories. It's either the mall or Magic Mountain. I'm still right between both, and more often than not, they choose Magic Mountain. So I can't wait for them to get back out there with their friends.
Well, I'll tell you that every single person at Magic Mountain just simply cannot wait to get back to doing what we do best, and that's welcoming people to the park and giving them the entertainment experience of a lifetime. So we literally can't wait to get back into doing this.
Thank you so much, Tim. Have a great weekend. I so appreciate you. I look forward to this episode airing, and for everyone getting back into Magic Mountain. Thanks again.
Great talking to you. See you soon.
You too. Bye-bye. Assemblywoman Suzette Valadares, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for taking the time. And it was so important to have this conversation in conjunction with my conversation with Tim earlier today, the Vice President of Operations at Magic Mountain. He said that you were so collaborative. But before we get into that, I definitely wanted to highlight the fact that you were so receptive and immediate in your response to this interview. And you have, from all appearances, you dove right into your work, and the Valley appreciates that. And I definitely know that this is a big part of getting back to life, the symbolism of Magic Mountain coming back. So I guess I wanted to talk to you about how it's going for you in Sacramento, and then definitely how you co-sponsored this assembly.
Yeah, well, thank you for that. When I, after I won and was so blessed to have been voted to represent our community in the 38th Assembly District, I did some soul searching, or not really soul searching, but I really wanted to pick 3 core values that would represent who I am as a representative. And one of those things is I want the community to know and see that I am going to be the hardest working representative they have ever encountered. My dad taught me the value of a day's hard work, and that you could be, you needed to be the hardest working person in the room. You didn't have to be the smartest person in the room, but if you worked harder, you could be just as successful, if not more. So that's who I am, and that's who my office is. The other thing that was really important to me is, too often we feel like our representatives are not listening to us. They're not here in our community understanding, who we are and the needs that we have. So our office is going to be, and myself, the most accessible and approachable representative.
Yes.
And also somebody who is empathetic. And when I say empathetic, I mean somebody who truly understands the issues that we're all facing. And when it comes to theme parks, when it comes to AB 420, and that is a safe theme park reopening bill that I co-authored with my Assemblywoman Sharon Quirk Silva in a bipartisan fashion. For me, I get the theme park industry. Tim was actually an old boss of mine. I worked at Six Flags Magic Mountain. It was my first job. I was a ride operator on the jet stream. Love the jet stream, but I was there for 8 years, and I rose up through the ranks. There was such an amazing opportunity to learn on how to manage people, how to manage budgets and shifts. I was a ride operator, a ride supervisor. I was a supervisor for Main Gate, and then I was the operations training supervisor. And then I was a loss prevention investigator. So I know theme parks more than most in the state legislature.
and that was a great fun fact in advance of when we normally do it, but it was something he spoke to, that he's been there since 1977 and also rose through the ranks. And we talked a lot about how in our community, that's oftentimes our young people's first jobs, their experience at employment. And so also finding out the biggest employer in Santa Clarita. So it coming back is huge.
Yeah. And you know what? So they've been closed for nearly a year.
Yes.
And I just think about the opportunity I was afforded to really start the foundation of my, professional path, and how many kids, in high school are not receiving that opportunity right now because the park has been closed. How many jobs, have we lost? And not just the jobs we've lost at Six Flags Magic Mountain, but the surrounding industry, hotels, restaurants. We do know, because we grew up around Magic Mountain, that how many parents drop their kids off at, their teenagers off at Magic Mountain and then go to the mall to go shopping.
Absolutely.
Like, this is such a huge economic driver of our local economy. So reopening was a priority, for me, day one going into the legislature, creating a path for the park to reopen.
Well, it led to so much excitement. As I've been promoting this, I've gotten a lot of calls and messages, and the excitement about it and his details and when it's going to be reopened. And then, of course, how they repurposed it for the vaccination rollout. With a car show this weekend that he's excited about as a car fan himself. And then, of course, the Christmas experience that they did with the lights, that they actually had to extend it a month because of the response. So it was really exciting to see that headline. And I knew I had to talk to you because I had seen your efforts there, and to find out that it is actually truly to your heart, something that you wanted to make sure other young people who have, grown up in this valley kind of waiting to work at Magic Mountain.
It's like a rite of passage out here.
It really is. Yes.
It's part of our Santa Clarita culture. Yeah,
and it's a jewel of Santa Clarita. I mean, when I talked about I travel nationally with my girls, and anytime I tell someone where I'm from, they kind of try to figure out where that is. But if I say Magic Mountain, they get it right away. They know. So yes, it is a rite of passage.
When I explain to people where the 38th Assembly District is, my first thing is Six Flags Magic Mountain. They're like, oh. The second thing is Reagan Library, which is in Simi Valley in the district, which has also been closed. So this bill is, I am the vice chair on the Arts, Entertainment, Sports, Tourism, and Internet Media. It's a very long, committee.
That as well.
Which is very, I'm the vice chair. The chairwoman is Sharon Quirk Silva. And it's very vital. That committee, I think, gives our community a huge opportunity to address the needs of the industry in our community: theme parks, tourism, museums, the arts, movie theaters, play theaters, comedy houses, all of these, and production too, right? Because we have a huge growing Hollywood production industry in our valley. It gives us a really unique opportunity to have a say, to have a seat at the table, and particularly on theme parks. I'm really excited and just, to talk a little bit about what this bill does. It's the intent of the bill. It's the intent of the legislature to move theme parks into the orange tier for reopening. So it's still part of the tier system by the administration, but theme parks in Florida, in Texas, have been open. Not one single case of COVID has been traced to a theme park. And we also have smaller theme parks in California that have also opened, that have done so responsibly. I took my daughter to the Santa Barbara Zoo, a couple of months ago, and the protocols in place are, just as safe as if you're going to your local market. You're going to be wearing masks, social distancing. You use apps to order your food. So you order it on your phone and you just go pick it up. You're not waiting in line. We can do this safely and responsibly, and that is, the objective for opening up everything, whether it's schools, theme parks, other businesses. We can do it responsibly and safely.
Absolutely, and I love that you mentioned that, because Tim actually spoke to the innovative ways that they'll actually continue to operate because of COVID, and that it actually lent to more efficiency. And they're like, well, at this point, we're going to keep using it because it makes sense. And then, of course, using the other states like Texas as a barometer for the fact that it can be accomplished. And so we are taking cues from other places, using our own kind of creative juices to make things happen. And I think that's why people are so excited about this, because Magic Mountain, it's besides the economy that it drives, it is kind of symbolic that if that's open, that life is coming back. And I think people, my office is literally, I could see from my office, and not seeing the roller coasters moving, it kind of, it reminds me that we're not moving yet. So to see that is so exciting.
Yeah, you're right. One of my, I guess one of the moments that hit me, that I was now representing our community and representing, our theme park and so many industries. I was driving to my first day here in the district office, which is off of Magic Mountain Parkway on Turney. And it just hit me on my first day to work. I was driving and I was exiting Magic Mountain Parkway, and I was like, wow, over 20 something years ago, I was driving to my first job, exiting Magic Mountain, turning a left. And now I'm turning a right, and I'm turning a right to represent, that iconic tower that everybody knows is Six Flags Magic Mountain. And my friends and my family who stood there, the landmark. Yeah.
What a full circle moment for you. I'm glad you shared that, because we can all kind of be in this crisis and forget of all the things that it took for us to get through it, but then also just the other moments in life that were important and shaped us. And certainly your experience there shaped you, and to have that full circle moment, I'm glad you shared that, because it definitely helps people relate to your pursuit of excellence, and that it started right there. I mean, that's powerful. And young people need to hear that, because they need to know it's not just a job. Certainly what you choose to do in life later, but certain experiences will always shape you. And I'm glad that you shared that. And
absolutely,
because I'm off Magic Mountain Attorney as well.
Yeah, we'll have to go have lunch sometime.
Wanted to talk a little bit about the other things that you are diving right into, that you're a champion for. I know small businesses was a big platform of yours. It's a huge issue for me because I support small businesses. So How are things in that area?
Yeah, I am so blessed to be given the opportunity to represent our community's voice, especially for small business, coming from a small business background and nonprofit background. I understand what it was like to run a small business prior to the pandemic and even during this pandemic. And California taxes, fees, regulation have real world consequences for small businesses. So this is a really critical and unique time to have a voice that when they're trying to pass policy, for just having a seat at the table, small businesses having a seat at the table through me saying, hey, wait a minute, how is this going to affect small business? Or, we just passed some landmark stimulus for small businesses.
Yes.
In the original budget that the governor released back in January, he had allocated about $550 million for small business grants. Well, my colleagues in a bipartisan effort and I put together a bill and a budget request for over $2 billion for small business grants for California small businesses. So that was passed last week. And it is needed at the most critical time. It's a huge priority for me.
And
to get reopened, absolutely. My very first two bills are very reflective of who I am. My very first bill was around protecting our foster youth and specifically protecting their credit. Foster youth are 35 times more likely to have their identities stolen by the time they turn 18 years old. And these are youth.
So many times, yes.
And they have already experienced so much trauma in life. They do not need to start off their adult life and financial situation in debt or with their identity stolen. So we are aiming to allow them to have their credit frozen until right before they turn 18 years old, as to protect their identity and their financial future. And then the second bill that I introduced was around reducing the franchise tax fee. So as a small business person, that every year California comes and says, Selina, give me your $800 just so that you can operate your business.
Absolutely. I know the number well.
Yeah. Every year you just kind of plan for that. And, in most years it's difficult. This year it's been particularly difficult because of COVID. And so what my bill aims to do is to reduce that fee for small businesses to $400 and for micro businesses to $200. So, so I am a true believer that small businesses are the backbone of California and even our community here in the 38th. And we need to do everything that we can do to support them.
Yes, and that grace that we're afforded, and I know this well because I have a lot of companies that have to consider where they, especially when with the grant monies on the horizon, what their priorities are to pay, make sure they stay operational. And having that grace there, it gives them some more peace of mind that we're going to recover and stay compliant with those things. And having also been a social worker in the foster care system for 10 years in Bakersfield, I understand the dynamics that our foster care youth go through, separate from the trauma, but just getting a head start, coming into their 18th year behind the 8 ball in comparison to their peers. And so that's phenomenal to hear that is something else that's on the horizon. I'm so glad you were able to share all those things with us. And I can't even express how much as a constituent it means to see someone say what they're going to do and then do what they say. It makes all the difference, but I think it's amplified because we're in a crisis.
Absolutely. And, that comes with truly understanding our community and having conversations like this. And if for those of your, followers who are watching right now, please don't hesitate to contact my office, assemblymember.valadares@assembly.ca.gov with your comments, with your concerns, with your ideas. I want you to know that I'm here to listen. I'm here to represent our community, and your voice matters.
And advocate. And I attest to not only your immediate response, but I've watched you live on other kind of updates that you've done, like right after the election, and you knew some people by name, and this is when the power outages were happening, and you knew the streets, and you had a real pulse on what was happening, and I can't imagine a better representative. So I thank you for your time today. So excited to see Magic Mountain as a reflection of our community, a symbol of our community returning. And you were a very important part of this interview, and I thank you for your time.
Thank you, and thank you for bringing attention to it.
Absolutely. Keep up the great work. We'll see you soon.
Bye now.
Bye.